Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as the title of this video implies, I want to talk about Mustangs, specifically Foxbodys, and do millennials belong in Foxbodys? I'm raising this point because of my own age and my own experience with this car and my experience with Mustangs and other cars in general just over the course of my life. Obviously, when you go to a car show, when you go out, into any sort of car culture, seeing a car like this, a 30-year-old car, usually it is, frankly, it's usually driven by a 40 or 50-year-old dude. Or lady sometimes, but usually it's somebody a little older than myself. I'm 31, so I am a millennial. I was born in 1991. This car is a 93, so I'm a tiny bit older than my car, but not by much. Majority of the guys that own these cars now are between the ages of, I'm going to say, 40 and 50. From what I've seen. There's definitely a few other guys my age. Honestly, if you check out Dom Spano, Spano50, I think it is on Instagram, his convertible and that gray hatchback he has are beautiful, and I think he's the same age as me. And he's put in some extreme work, man. So it can be done as a younger guy. But I'm raising this point because I think that people my age are coming into these cars. Obviously, like when I was in high school and stuff, the new Edges, or even kind of a later SN95, those kind of cars were really popular. Lots of guys had those. Lots of guys had like the 2000 models, Z06 Trans Am, Camaros and the WS6 Trans Ams and all that sort of nonsense. I grew up around Mustangs. My mom always had them. When I was a baby, my mom's car was a 1988 4-cylinder, 5-speed notchback. So I have a lot of memories in this type of car because she had that car up till I was like 6 years old, and I think it was actually like the first car she ever even bought new. So like I said, this car resonates with me because I have memories in it. Getting a little bit older into high school and stuff like that, I think there was actually 2 or 3 guys in high school that drove these kind of things. Now granted, I grew up in rural North Carolina, so a junky old Foxbody was kind of a common thing to see just because they were cheap and everybody was poor, but it's just part of it. But yeah, my point here is this car right for our generation? I think so. My thoughts on it are, when you think about a first-gen Mustang, we'll just go 65 to 70, the good ones, the ones that before they started to suck. 65 to 70. If you look at the current owner of most of those cars, most of those guys are somewhere in the realm of, I don't know, we'll say in their 60s probably. My dad's age, my dad's like 67, so those kind of guys are the ones that would own those first-gen Mustangs. Then you get into guys that are in about their 40s, and about 20 years later comes along the Foxbody, and now those guys own the Foxbody. So in theory, that means my generation's meant to own new Edges, right? Because that was what was prevalent when I was around. I can't get behind that. Frankly, because of mod motors. Not to say that I'd never own one, or not to say that I hate the things or anything like that, but this is so much more of a visceral machine. And that's honestly what I'm seeing as what people want. I work in the car industry. I work for a dealership. I fix high-end European cars on a daily basis. And sure, they're great to drive. They're fun to drive. Some of them are really cool, really fast, but it's a digital experience these days. Everything about those things, as cool as they are and as great as the technology is, you don't feel like you're actually in control of the situation. The car is very much in control of the situation, and it's programmed to be that way. Trust me, I deal with the programming side of it as well. They're meant to take any bit of stupid that the driver has out and take control. I randomly got to drive a C7 Grand Sport, which it's not the Z06, it's not like the highest end model that they make or anything like that, but I'm driving this thing at like 35 miles an hour in like fourth gear, and it's kind of damp. It wasn't raining, but it had rained, and it was damp, and I gave it just, a little bit of excessive gas just to see what would happen. And I mean, the whole car starts to get sideways real fast, but it's like God picked it up and put it back straight for me, because the traction control and all the driver assist is so perfect in that thing. Like I said, it's there to, frankly, prevent stupid, and it works pretty damn good. But do we want our car telling us what to do? I mean, obviously, I didn't expect that thing to get sideways like that, but do we want our car to have that much control? Personally, I mean, day-to-day driving to work, sure, it's fine. It keeps you safe. But when you want to have a visceral experience in your vehicle, I mean, to me, this thing, it's incredible. The experience of this car is not like any other that I've owned personally. I had an 84 Jeep CJ7 when I was in high school, and me and my dad restored it, and I got to drive it to school. I got to screw around with it and like take my friends out in it and all that sort of stuff. And obviously it's not a muscle car, but it was old and it had that visceral experience. And frankly, that's what I wanted again. Where is it that we land in this car? Why is it that people my age are even attracted to this car? I go to car shows and I get more people my age that talk to me about my car than I do of any other generation. And it really surprises me. Foxbodys offer such a visceral experience. It is such a analog driving experience that's not available today, and frankly hasn't been available in, we'll say, 20-25 years. Growing up, my mom, when I was 16, my mom had a 2002 V6 New Edge automatic convertible. So I learned how to drive in that car, and I mean, it was cool. It was fine. Now, I kind of hated the car at the time because it was a V6 and an automatic, and like I wanted a muscle car, but whatever. It's still that car doesn't speak to me the way this one does. All right, so to square this video up, the whole reason I made it is just to put out into the world that this car could be for anybody. It doesn't have to be for the boomers. It doesn't have to be for the Gen X, and it doesn't have to be for the millennials and even those to come. It can be for all of us. I just wanted to put this out there, my perspective on why it is I even like this thing as a 31-year-old dude, as opposed to why, something else. I want the community to thrive, and I want people to continue to have interest in it, because I want to continue to see growth in what can be done with these cars, the parts of it that are available for them, and I love watching and seeing other people's builds online and stuff like that. So anyway, if you have any opinions on what it is I think, or You know, if you have your own story that you'd like to share about why you love one of these cars or something awesome like that, whatever it may be, you know, feel free to reach out and tell me. You can find me on Instagram, misfit.motorworks, and I really appreciate everybody who stuck around to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.